I forget what episode we talked about this, but like growing up and is realizing that you win the games by having a good offensive line and defensive line and not receivers. I know that sounds very hypocritical after I just compared Jalen Hurts not having DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson to Robert E. Lee losing the Civil War, but that is it.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That
is? Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 93 of Birds vs. Boys, another game day podcast. It's a Thursday that this is dropping, and it's Cowboys Saints the week after. I feel like they always play the Saints the Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Always
they always have that. Always. And it's always like the week, I think in 2018, when they beat them like 13-10, I think it was. Jordan Lewis had the game of his life. And who was it? Oh, Jalen Smith knocked out Alvin Kamara on the sideline. Should have been helmet to helmet. I think that was 2018, and that was this week too. But we have Cowboys Saints tonight. But we're here, Birds vs. Boys. We have a lot to talk about. We have an interview. We have things happening. But when we have things happening, Aidan talks about those things. So Aidan, how are you?
Doing a lot better than you would expect for someone who just lost to the lowly Giants. I thought, I'm assuming if anyone's listened to this podcast before, you would assume I'd come here ready to list my 13th reason and end it. But I'm doing a lot better than that.
Joe Judge ended you.
He didn't end me, but we didn't end him, which is disappointing. I feel like it was teetering on like him losing his job. You're running out of scapegoats. And there was the report that day of the game that they're going to move on from Gettleman after the season, the GM. Obviously, they fired Jason Garrett earlier in the week. So they were running out of scapegoats there. I thought we had the chance to really step on the neck of Joe Judge. But I did say last week in the show, I had a weird feeling. I had a really weird feeling, and it progressed and got worse after we were done recording. It was like my sickness last week. I thought I had a cold. Yep. And then it got worse and I had bronchitis, and that's kind of how last week went. I got worried, and then I was like, this feeling isn't going away. It's getting worse.
I have a Jason Garrett hot take too, if you want to hear it real quick.
Yeah.
Duke football. Book it.
I feel like he's a pro guy though. I don't know.
I don't think he's a pro guy anymore.
Well, who would give him a job, I guess, is the issue.
Duke.
Do you think he'd be a good recruiter in college ranks? Because I feel like he'd be terrible.
I think he's a rah-rah. Let's go. Come on, guys. Perfect for Duke.
I don't know.
Watch.
You got to be good on the recruiting trail. If Jason Garrett's in your living
Duke.
room,
You don't have to be good at anything except basketball.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like they should just go like the Wake Forest route and NC State and just I don't know. I don't see it. But it's definitely I don't know if he'll get another chance in the NFL.
I hope not. All right. So what do we have? Looking forward in this podcast? We looked in the past there, and we saw how you lost to the Giants in one of the ugliest games of the season that we had a chance to be at. And then my wife was like, I don't know if I want you in a stadium right now with Kelvin getting bad again. So we didn't go. And I think that was a blessing in disguise for you.
Sitting out there in the freezing cold with bronchitis to watch them score 7 points probably would have been a disaster. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't sound like it'd be that fun.
No. And that stadium stinks too. So.
Yeah. Well, we're right back there this week. So right back at it. All right. So now we're going into the present. And for you, it's the future, but for everyone listening, it's the present. Game day. So we're going to talk about the Cowboys first. Going to go over a few points on that. Going to keep that a little bit short, though, because our interview today, Ari Temkin, he is a host of Dallas Cowboys Radio Network on 105.3 The Fan, which Kevin listens to religiously. So they did a great interview today. I had to work, so I missed out, disappointed, but from all that I've heard, it went incredibly well. So that should be a good interview there. And then also, like we said, Eagles back at MetLife. So we're going to talk about that as well. And interesting TikTok tonight, top 5 most overrated players in the NFL.
Get those fingers working, TikTokers, in the comments.
I'm sure that they will.
The thumbs will be going. I can't believe. Well, first we'll get first, and then maybe a sup, and then maybe a you guys are the best on this app, and then the rest will be like, you fucking suck. I want to kill you.
Yep.
How did you leave this person off the list?
Yep. 9. Yep. Well, this time it'll be like, how is this person on the list? It'll be the opposite. We're going to trick them this time.
How dare you?
How dare you? Let's start with you.
Yep.
Cowboys tonight, playing the Saints. Lost what? 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Saints
2 in a row.
Didn't win in November. Feels like there's a little bit of desperation there with them, but also the Cowboys need to get back on track. Kevin, take it away. Your thoughts, feelings about this game.
Yep. Cowboys lost 3 out of 4, lost 2 in a row. And the Saints have lost 4 in a row, which scares me. They're making a switch at quarterback, going to Taysom Hill now, which scares me because the Cowboys have a little problem stopping the run. I'm sure Sean Payton is going to have the offense dialed up with some schemes, some running plays. Alvin Kamara looks like he's going to be back. However, we don't know what's happening Saints-wise on their offensive line. Both of their tackles are questionable for this game, Ramczyk and Armstead. I think it was Armstead who practiced limited on Monday, and then I think got hurt again in practice, and then did not participate Tuesday, did not participate Wednesday. That's never a good thing going into a Thursday game. And they also are going to be without Marcus Davenport, one of their best pass rushers, so that should help the Cowboys offense. But to the Cowboys, couple things. Like you said, I do have a great conversation with Ari Temkin. We go into all things Cowboys in this game and looking forward and kind of looking back, I guess, too. So first things first is, I don't know. So Amari Cooper, unvaccinated, missed the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
Missed the Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's back in the facility, but he's not practicing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he doesn't feel well.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I think it was Monday morning or Tuesday. I think it was yesterday morning. Jerry Jones was on that 105.3 The Fan talking about his flu game in college and how it was the best game he ever played in his life. Couldn't pick his head up off the table, but he went out there and attaboyed him. And it's amazing what you can do when you don't feel well if you just put your mind to it. And he said, Cooper's going to be playing, I have no doubt. And then like 3 hours later, Mike McCarthy from his Zoom call with reporters because, Mike McCarthy has COVID. And also on the radio, Jerry Jones said, no one in the world is more vaccinated than Mike McCarthy. Don't know what that means, but he has COVID and won't be in this game. But Mike McCarthy's like,
he got Pfizer and Moderna.
Yeah.
No one's more vaccinated. He just got both of them.
And he got the boosters too. He's got everything. He just shows up at Costco, hit it. Then he goes over to CVS. This one right here. So vaccinated.
Yeah. They shot the J&J one in him.
Yep.
He's got the clinical trials coursing through the veins.
Didn't work because he has COVID, so he won't be there. But he said Mari's not feeling too great. He's still got a little cough, so we don't know. He needs to practice Wednesday to be able to go in this game. And then out of the blue, all of a sudden on Wednesday, it's breaking news. Brian Broaddus put it out there, Ed Warder, that he was on the plane to New Orleans and is expected to play. So I don't know if Jerry got on the phone and was like, listen, motherfucker, I pay you a lot of money. You're not missing 3 games.
It very well could be, or they just put him on a snap count.
Yeah.
Because his lungs are messed up. And they're like, well, you're going to play, but we can't play every play.
Yep. Which is going to have to probably be the go. Cedric Wilson's not going to be playing in this game, though. However, he's out with the shoulder. And then Malik Turner is also questionable. He has an illness. I guess it's not COVID. So they have the 3 starting wide receivers back together only for the 3rd time, I believe, this season. So Amari Cooper, CeeDee, and Gallup. But we'll see. Like you said, I mean, Amari has to be on a snap count. He's not going to be able to be out there giving his 100% of plays. It's just not going to happen. But CeeDee being out there, having both tackles out there. No, not Terrence Steele, though, because they're not going to be able to rotate their tackles because Terrence Steele has COVID as well. Luckily, you have this guy named Lyle Collins just sitting there on the bench that could play right tackle for you. So I'm excited for the offense. The only thing I'm going to throw something out there to you and tell me what you think about this. So the Saints are a good rushing defense until they played the Eagles, and the Eagles shredded them. But they're one of the best rush defenses in the league. However, they are one of the worst rush defenses in the league in giving up chunk runs, 10 yards or more. So they're good at stopping a great amount of runs, but they will get gashed at time to time. What does that say to you that the Cowboys should do?
Well, if you can get Zeke to the second level, then you can get a lot of like big time runs.
Or
you could utilize Tony Pollard a little bit because he's got the burst. Yeah.
Thank you. Who is the chunk run guy? It's Tony Pollard, especially when you have a banged up Zeke, who there was questions after the Thanksgiving game. Are you going to sit him out in this Thursday night game because his knee's bummed? He doesn't look good. I don't want to just bang our heads against the wall all day, rushing Zeke for 2, -1, 2.5. Maybe that was 3. No, let's get in the bag again, Kellen Moore. Okay. Let's get some misdirection runs, give it to 20, get the juice going. They have not scored over 27 points since like 1960 against the Saints.
Really?
Yeah.
That's odd. I mean, not that we play every year, but we play a decent amount.
But they have been playing them. And all these games have been close with the Cowboys and the Saints. Like we mentioned before, it was like 13-10. And then there was the other one where Teddy Bridgewater beat them. So they're always close. So I don't think this game's going to be much different. Cowboys are going to have to score and score quickly, I think, too, to take the crowd out of it. Thursday night primetime Dallas in town. This crowd's going to be rocking.
Oh yeah, So know that red flag trend that was going around on Twitter where they'd post like something and then just a bunch of the red flag emojis. Here are 2 for you. 1, Zeke having knee problems, and not like, oh, he sprained his MCL or whatever, like having like the knee is wearing down and we're in week 12.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe we should sit him to heal it because his soreness is so bad. Huge red flag. That's like, we were talking baseball before we hopped on here. The Mets signed Max Scherzer for 3 years. A great pitcher. A little bit of a red flag that literally at the end of the playoffs, he could not pitch because his arm was dead.
Yep.
Like it's not like he sprained an ankle. That's like red flag territory. And then also red flag, we talked about the desperation of the Giants last week and how they were going to come out and try things on offense. The Saints are in desperation mode.
Yep.
They're still in the playoff hunt, but they went winless in November and just made a quarterback change. Anytime there's change and despair, I do not want to play that team. Another red flag.
Yep. I don't want to be facing Taysom Hill. He can't throw the ball down the field, but I would have much rather have taken my chances with Trevor Siemian than the offense that Sean Payton's going to put in, trying to run it down their throats with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill.
Yeah, because I think you know what you're getting in Trevor Siemian, and it's just like average.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's like bland, and you kind of know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from Taysom Hill.
No.
That's the issue.
It scares me. It scares the living shit out of me, especially with this defense that hasn't been playing great. Just got shredded by, future Hall of Famer Derek Carr. So who leads the league in passing yards? Aidan. I don't know if you knew that, but
I've been told.
But so head to the defensive side of the ball, and then I'll let you run with the Eagles. Is Tank Lawrence is back. So that's another thing, though, where Cowboys fans need to temper a little bit. Like you said, with Amari on a snap count, he broke his foot and he hasn't played since week 1. It's not just like Tank's back. He's going to be on a much limited snap count, I'm thinking. But I'm really excited for when he's back. And then Randy Gregory should be back by next week against the Washington football team, as well as Neville Gallimore, of what they're going to do with Tank and with Randy and with Micah, because they could just do so much with have Randy Gregory on one side, Micah on the other, and then kick DeMarcus Lawrence inside, rushing from there. It's just once this team gets healthy, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm going to say it, this is a must-win game. Washington football team is on a roll right now.
Is it a must win or can't lose?
Both.
No, it can only be one.
Must win.
Okay.
Can't tie. It's a must-win, can't tie.
It's a must-win for the Cowboys, and a can't lose for the Saints.
Exactly. So I don't know. And Ari Temkin and I in the interview, he kind of talks about who should he more be scared about, Washington football team or Eagles. I won't give it away who he says. But yeah, I mean, this division's not locked up yet.
I know who I think.
Who?
Washington.
Yeah, I know. The defense is playing well. It's weird with Washington. I see it with my eyes, but I still don't believe it.
Well, you know why? Same logic, but on the reverse side. But like you just said, I see it, but I don't want to believe it. The Seahawks offense.
Yeah,
I see it that they are just abysmal, but I don't want to believe it because Russell Wilson has been a top 5 quarterback in the league. That is atrocious. They are a tough watch, and they've been that way for months, even before he got hurt, and now after he came back from the injury. So, like, is Washington good, or is it just like I'm seeing how bad the Seahawks offense is, but I'm not believing it?
Hey, maybe the Eagles were correct in not drafting DK Metcalf. Dude stinks.
That doesn't have the it factor.
Nope.
I believe same. I think J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had more receptions than DK Metcalf, and for more yards this past week with 1. So
how about that?
You really got it.
How about that? How about this? Jalen Reagor just like
unbelievable.
When I literally, so I was more nervous, and that's kind of all I have for the Cowboys. I think they like I said. Yep.
Real quick before we do Eagles, confident in a win? No. Well, don't do your.
I actually am confident. I am. I feel like they're going to be locked in. I feel like Dak's going to be locked in. He's got his guys back. They know it's a must win. They know they have their backs to the wall. I know the Saints do too. Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites. I think they're going to play really hard for Dan Quinn. I think they do love Dan Quinn, and I think him and Kellen Moore on the sideline together are going to bring a lot of energy. And that Oompa Loompa fat fuck Mike McCarthy's going to be sitting home like, oh, shit.
I know. It's going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to be super inspired, or it's going to be like having a substitute teacher where it's just pure chaos and you get no work done.
I think that's why they put Dan Quinn, because he's been a head coach. He's done it. He's done it recently. He is the CEO type. I'm very interested to see how the defense is run, because obviously he's been running the defense from up in the booth all season. Now he's going to be on the sideline.
Yeah.
So, is there going to be changes in that?
I agree. That is a bit odd.
It is.
No, it's one of those minor things you won't think about, but that is going to be a little bit weird for him.
And Ben McAdoo will be coaching up in the booth. Called this last week, I think, with Lance Meadow. He will be offensive coordinator next year for the Cowboys. He's just slowly creeping his way in.
Kellen Moore to ND. Another name.
That would be fun. But no, Marcus Freeman, baby.
I don't know. Offensive genius, Kellen Moore.
They locked up Tommy Reese, also offensive genius.
Well, no.
Hey, they said he is now going to have more control over the offense. So he could be even more of a genius than we thought. Brian Kelly's been holding him back.
Yeah, well, we will see.
Last thing with the Cowboys, it's pretty funny. Did you see the Damontae Kazee video when he had his DUI?
No. I didn't even know he got a DUI. Oh, wait, yeah, we talked about that.
Vince, can you pull this up real quick? Damontae Kazee DUI video? Because it is pretty funny.
Did he use the "Do you know who I am" trick?
Sorta. Not
sorta.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I play for?
Sorta. Do you know who my friends are? Kinda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he name drop some people?
Oh, yeah.
Man, all these fucking rolls, the size rolls, and on the freeway and stuff. I'm just
okay. Where were you coming from, dude?
Man, I'm just with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott, man. We just having fun right now.
Where was that at?
Downtown Dallas right now.
Okay.
I really don't know where I'm at right now.
So I saw you come out of that Grandscape area.
Yes, sir.
All right, we don't need to go into the whole detail, but of course, he was where are you coming from? Oh, man, I'm just hanging out with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott.
That was smooth. If you're going to name two.
He's like, I know you don't know who I am because I'm new. I don't really play much, but my guys, I don't know if you heard of
Yeah,
them.
well, he should have led with my teammates.
Yes.
Then
yeah,
the
true.
Yeah, then he would have known he's on the Cowboys. Close. Almost pulled it off, but also not really.
So yeah, that was fun. He hasn't really been playing that much since that, but yeah, we'll see. But I feel confident. I think the Cowboys are going to win. I think they're going to score early and often, get this thing rolling again, and head into basically the NFC East for the rest of the season, minus one game with the Cardinals. So it's Washington, Giants, Washington, Cardinals, Eagles after this.
That NFC East is so backloaded this year.
I know.
It's like the season hasn't mattered until December, you know?
And the Cowboys only have 2 home games left, one on Christmas and I think one on New Year's or something like that. So
You play Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's?
well, maybe it's like the day after Christmas. Hold on.
Oh.
Christmas is a Saturday, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the day after Christmas, I think.
Interesting.
Yep. But so we'll see. Go Cowboys, beat Saints. And yeah, the interview with Ari will come up right after Aidan talks about these birds that go back to MetLife. Can you imagine losing to the Giants and the Jets back-to-back weeks?
Oh, I don't even want to imagine it. Do not even want to think about it.
I mean, that can't happen, right?
Stop. I don't want to hear it. I've already, like, as a person who has been hurt, sorry for throwing my pen to the people listening, as a person who has been hurt by Philly sports many times before, I was thinking Eagles have, in their franchise history, have never lost the Jets. And I'd be like, well, something's got to give at some point. Like anybody else, anyone who's had like a franchise that hasn't broken their heart every year would be like, well, we've never lost to this team. And as it's saying it is a good way. And in my brain, I'm like, oh no, we've never lost to this team before.
We have to lose now.
Something's got to give.
Oh God, losing to the Giants and the Jets back-to-back.
It would be bad. I'm not gonna lie.
It would be awesome.
It would not be ideal. Vince just told us his brain, Philly fan, works the same way. Something's it's not right. It's not right. But
Broken brain.
Do like the chance that we get to go to MetLife and at least like redeem our vices and our sins and make up for. We get to repent for
we are
all
sorry.
the sins that we have committed last week by scoring 7 points against the Giants and losing the game.
And almost winning it at the end.
And then almost winning it at the end. Let's talk about that first before we get into this week, because that leads into this week. There has been great debate over the last play. Boston Scott completely off the hook for fumbling on the drive before and getting stripped with 2 minutes left in the game. Among other things that went wrong, Dallas Goedert off the hook for his drop, the Jalen Reagor first drop. The last play has been the talk of the town because there's an argument as to whether DeVonta Smith was open or not, whether there's a safety over the top, whether
he was primary on the play, correct?
He was the primary on the play, so should Hurts have thrown it to him? Could he have gotten it to him over the corner? All of these different just aspects of the play and angles of the play. Do you know how insane we sound talking about this when the quarterback hit his receiver in the fucking face on 4th and 10 at the 1 yard line? Do you know how insane this sounds? The quarterback with the game on the line hit his receiver in the goddamn face at the 1 yard line. And we're
a little high though. He had to jump. Aiden. He had to jump.
He wouldn't. Oh my God. It wasn't like he had to jump because it was out of reach. He jumped and then it was right there for him. I just can't get over this argument. And everybody knows, like, I'm not the biggest Hurts guy, but
question, does Justin Jefferson make that catch?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just
he would have been the primary on the play, and we would have been arguing. We would have been having the same argument. It would have been like, well, Justin Jefferson was open over in the corner. I don't know where the safety was.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside dropped it.
And JJ Arcega-Whiteside dropped it at the goal line like he did 2 years ago.
Or no, that would have been DK Metcalf.
Yes. No, it would have been DK Metcalf. I don't even know who the third read would have been on the play.
Yeah.
Whoever else we missed on.
Yep.
But it's just like the most insane argument I think we've ever had as Philly fans. It's just like your quarterback hits the guy at the 1 yard line after hitting him in stride 2 plays prior, and at 1 play after hitting his tight end in the hands for a first down. We're like, well, should he have thrown him the ball?
Oh, it's so
It's gonna
good.
be so annoying. He made his best passes with the game on the line, and it doesn't matter.
It's just so perfect.
Yeah, it's just like the same problems, or the same ghosts coming out. It's like American Horror Story, how they continually do the plot for season 1 where everyone's dead at the horror house. That is the Eagles playmakers. Like, we keep going back to this thing where we need
Yep.
people to get open and they can't, and we need people to make catches in crunch time and they can't, and we need people to not have crucial drops in key moments and they can't do it.
Mhm.
It's the House of Horrors from season 1 of American Horror Story. It is Horror House every single
of it.
season.
Every day, every minute, every moment, every game.
Every Sunday, every single Sunday. So we talk about like if Hurts is going to be the guy or whatever, but no matter who it is, you need more playmakers. That is the key. It reared its ugly head again. Looking like we might have 3 picks. Wentz is 1 game away. They cut. I don't know if you were watching. The Eagles game ended and they cut to Carson Wentz leading a touchdown drive. And I was like, oh,
Here we go.
yeah, with 3 minutes left in the 4th. I was like, kill me now. But again, like, it was Wentz had issues last year, Hurts in crunch time, throwing it drops. And now this week there was rumors about Russell Wilson. Well, you see how he's struggling, and he's got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but like, they have no run game. The offensive line has gotten him killed for years. So these quarterbacks can't just, they can't wave a magic wand. You need weapons. You need pieces around you. They can be a good general in the army, but even some of the Confederate generals were really, really good. Like Robert E. Lee was a military genius, but he didn't have enough soldiers. That's why they lost the war. It had nothing to do with his strategy. The last strategy of the Union War, if you want a Civil War lesson, was they had more people and they just bum rushed them. And they're like, we know a bunch of people are going to die, but we have more people that can die. That's like the same logic applies here. Like, you can have a good general. Doesn't fucking matter. You need more soldiers than other people.
If you don't have the manpower or human power, I guess you got to say these days, you're going to lose.
Yeah. That, I want this marked down. That, I did not write this down at all. That was top 5 analogy from Aidan of all time.
Well, I think
I just pulled that Civil War thing out of my ass.
You are. I think we can just end the show now.
That was my best work. You ever see the end of Horrible Bosses when he's like,
yes,
you're not going to get better than that. That's how I feel.
Just end it.
End it. You're not going to get better than that. So I thought it was just funny because like it all ties in together. Like, the problems that you've had, the quarterback you have now, the quarterback you want in the future, big triangle, they're all connected like that. So we'll see. As for this week, again, going back to the last drive, Kenny Gainwell, great in the passing game. I don't think we're going to have Jordan Howard this week, which really sucks.
Yep.
We really missed him.
He's just that bell cow. Like you said, he's he's the guy just like, okay, I'm going to do my job correctly guy.
Yep, exactly. And they really missed that because Boston Scott was good. And then like Miles Sanders tweaked his ankle again. So we didn't really even have him in the second half. And you really felt the absence of Jordan Howard in the run game. But I'd like to use Kenny Gainwell in the passing game. He had a few good plays there, helping us get down the field. He's like that video game you like forget you have, and like you don't play it for like 6 months, a year, and you're like, oh, I forgot I had this. This game's awesome. And then play it again. Like, he's gone from a healthy scratch to, I think they should utilize him pretty early and often against the Jets.
What was I? Oh, that was at the Chiefs game when I was at that when the Eagles were not running the ball at all. And the entire stadium started chanting, run the damn ball.
Yeah.
And they bullied him and it was a Kenny Gainwell touchdown that broke the streak.
Pretty amazing that we've gone from week 3 or week 4 that you were at that game and they were chanting run the ball to we were down 13-3 or 13-0 in the 4th quarter and ran the ball 15 straight times.
Like, what? It really is. It feels like a different year, different millennium.
Yeah. Talk about a 180. This is just like a totally different season at this point. It's remarkable.
Oh.
It really is. So yeah, I'd like to see him utilized. Hopefully, Miles Sanders is healthy. Jason Kelsey looks like he's going to play. We lost Jack Driscoll on the line. I'm hoping Brandon Brooks can come back at some point. Like
Driscoll's done for the year,
All-Pro.
correct? Driscoll's done for the year.
Yep. So I didn't know this rule, but if you put somebody on IR twice, they are done for the year.
Christian
This is
McCaffrey.
the second time. So he's done. Yep. McCaffrey as well, which sucks, but also like leads me to believe that Brandon Brooks could come back. Like I don't think, especially the team now that you think might make the playoffs or at least has a chance, you wouldn't put that guy on IR if you didn't think you had Calvary coming behind him. So leads me to believe that Brandon Brooks might be able to come back, which would be awesome to have, like for once, finally to have the line of Mulata, Kelsey, Brooks, Lane Johnson. Just they're pulverizing people now. I can't imagine once Brooks gets back.
That's the Dallas Cowboys. They have not had their projected starting offensive line play one game together this year. Because everyone forgets they didn't have Zach Martin week 1 because he had COVID.
I forget what episode we talked about this, but like growing up and is realizing that you win the games by having a good offensive line and defensive line and not receivers. I know that sounds very hypocritical after I just compared Jalen Hurts not having DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson to Robert E. Lee losing the Civil War, but that is it.
Yep.
Even like high school and college, like the teams with the bigger offensive lines usually.
Oh gosh, yeah. Absolutely. Just bully ball.
I think this week the Eagles can go, even without Jordan Howard, can go back to a bit of that bully ball. You watched the Jets game because I know you had a crazy parlay when they played the Colts.
Yes.
They had that Jonathan Taylor game. I mean, what was his stat line? He had they ran for over 250 yards.
He had a 75-yard TD.
Yeah, he had a 75-yard touchdown run at that point. 2 touchdowns. Naeem Hines also added a touchdown, rushing touchdown.
Yeah, lost that parlay by 3 yards.
Yep. And you probably would have had it if it weren't for the rush defense of the Jets because the Colts were just pulverizing them and the lanes were open. And I think if you're the Eagles, you try to employ that strategy that the Colts had where it's just like, all right, doesn't matter how many times in a row we run it, make them stop you.
Just impose your will.
I was going to say, this has got to be an impose your will game, especially if Hurt's ankle is a little bit dinged up. Just impose your will, create lanes for the running backs, and control the clock, get a lead. You want to have a lead because the Jets have been turnover prone. It'll force them into mistakes.
And Kelsey is good to go?
So it sounds like he's good to go. Sounds like Jalen Hurts is good to go. He said he's going to play, and I believe Miles Sanders is good to go as well. Jordan Howard did not practice. I'm assuming he's probably done till after the bye. But you can go Sanders and Scott behind the line, and I think you'll be solid.
I feel like this season's been going on for a year, and you haven't had your bye week yet.
Oh, there's only one extra week in this season, but it might as well be an extra month. Doesn't it feel that way?
It's weird. It's like college football. I feel like flew because we're but I feel like the NFL season's been going on for a long time. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
I was putting my bets in last week and I was like, wow, like this is the last time I'm going to like bet a full college slate. And the Eagles and NFL haven't even had their bye week yet. Like we're not even close. It's December 1st as we're recording. Like this will stretch into January. We have another month plus
of
regular season.
Of regular season football.
It's
and then we'll
grueling.
See. We'll see. It's grueling, and it's amazing to see just what's happening. A month ago, the Rams were the best team in the league. They lose Robert Woods and gain Odell Beckham, and now they're the worst team in the league. I mean,
and Matthew Stafford, the went from MVP, sorry Vince, to now just they're like
the Lions.
The Lions Stafford was back.
Yep, here we go.
I think the 49ers broke them. I would not want to play the 49ers in the playoffs.
No, I would not want to play the 49ers ever. Jimmy Garoppolo's got it going on right now, too.
Their offense, they have found that they've struck that balance that they want to be in terms of running and passing. Where I'm
interested to see without Deebo Samuel for 2 weeks for them.
I know he has been the fantasy steal for me this year. Unreal. Because they play him, that dynamic of having him at running back.
Yep,
that's awesome. I can't wait till other teams try that. Speaking of teams that can try it, Reagor, like he clearly sucks as a receiver.
Yeah.
Might as well try him in these weird like niche situations at running back like Deebo Samuel, even though Deebo Samuel's a good receiver too.
And like what the Falcons have been doing with Cordell Patterson, he can be
Yeah,
that kind
another
of
good
guy.
one. It pretty much rejuvenated his career. He went
Mhm.
from kick returner to being one of the most reliable running backs in the league.
And now apparently he's a safety. He's on their depth chart as their third safety right now too.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. He's a big dude.
I love those Hail Marys where they bring in the guy on offense.
Mhm.
And it's usually like they used to do it with Julio in Atlanta. Where they'd be like, all right, well, he's our tallest guy, so we're just gonna send him out there.
And now
knock this
Julio's
thing
broken.
down. Yeah, now Julio's broken. Well, the Falcons break everybody eventually.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
So you're feeling confident you're saying a win?
I'm definitely more confident than I was last week. Like I said, last week I felt weird. This week I just feel like they realized they screwed up. Like they realized they played poorly, and it's just one of those games. Like we're clearly not that talented of a team, but even on paper we're more talented than the Jets. I feel like this just has to be a win. I think you lean on your offensive line here, and I think you can you can potentially win this game. And then one last thing in terms of the offensive line, I want to start Jordan Mailata winning Most Improved Player award because I think you can make a pretty solid case for 3 years ago, never played football his entire freaking life, to being graded as the best offensive lineman this week by PFF. So that seems like an improvement to me.
Yeah. Who has more turnovers in this one? Zach Wilson or Jalen Hurts?
Ooh, I'll go Zach Wilson because I'd say Hurts, that 3 interception game, we haven't really seen anything like
outlier
that this year. Yeah, I don't know. It could be, but we haven't seen anything like it yet. But I feel like we see it every week from the Jets.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Him having 3 is an outlier.
Oh,
Jalen
yeah,
Hurts.
yeah. Zach Wilson, that seems to be the norm. Even last week in the win, I'm pretty sure they threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
So, or had a pick and a fumble. They've got issues turnover.
I'm giving Slay 2 in this one.
Oh, I think I could see it. I could definitely see it.
It's like one of those type of games.
I could see some strip sacks. I saw that Derek Barnett actually has one of the best win rates of the year of any defensive end. I'm sure his agent will take that to the contract table for sure.
Yep.
Him and Josh Sweat, I could see getting in there, having a few strip sacks.
Oh, I love it.
Yep. So we'll see. It looks like both of us are confident, correct?
Yep.
We'll
Absolutely.
see.
So we're going to be in here 2 losses.
Yeah, I was about to say
losing reaction shows.
This will be the last time we ever have hope, ever,
Yep.
if we lose these 2 games.
We have to start planning our 100th episode, by the way.
93.
I know. So that'll be 7 weeks. So that'll be the playoffs, technically,
Wow,
I guess.
That'd be hilarious if we both made the
1,
playoffs.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be like January 19th.
It would help if we both made the playoffs.
Yes. Can you imagine if they were playing each other that week?
That'd be perfect. I don't think anything's ever worked out better in our favor.
Oh, God, that would be unbelievable. That just would be.
Well,
all right, you know what else is unbelievable?
Your interview with Ari Temkin today?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, let's get into it. Ari Temkin, host of Dallas Cowboys Radio Network on 105.3 The Fan. He talked to Kevin today about the upcoming game against the Saints, the overall state of the Cowboys, and the race that is just feeling like it's heating up in the NFC East. So here it is, our interview with Ari Temkin.
All right, we are now joined by Ari Temkin, who does the Dallas Cowboys pregame and postgame on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas with the one and only Brian Broaddus. And Ari, I asked you to come on Birds vs. Boys because, like I said to you before the interview, frankly, I don't miss a pre or a postgame on a Cowboys game. So I love the work that you guys do. So first of all, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've held the opinion for a long time that Brian Broaddus is the best in Cowboys media. So it's a thrill for me to work with him like I do and watch Cowboys games with him like I do. And hopefully that, that presents a good show for us for the pre and post. But obviously what happens in the game dictates a lot of that. So,
absolutely. Yeah. It's always a good day when you send a quote tweet to Brian Broaddus, and all of a sudden it pops up that he quote tweeted you, and it's like, okay, all right, it was a good day. One day we'll get him on here. We'll get him on here one day too. All right. So obviously this podcast is coming out on Thursday, so it's game day. So you'll be doing your pre and post game show. But before I dive into any questions with the Saints, I need to know where you stand. So I'm in the camp of like, just breathe, relax. Let's wait and see what this team is when they get their horses back, because I thought this 3-game stretch in 12 days was going to be hard enough. And then they lose Amari and they lose CeeDee, and it becomes almost impossible to me. So are you in that camp, or are you in the it's time to hit the panic button?
No, I mean, I think it'd be crazy to panic. I think a couple of things have happened. The division is becoming better than I think anticipated. And I don't know why. It's not like, last year the division was bad and the winner was 8-8.
Yep.
So, it wasn't going to be that. It wasn't going to be 7-9 or 7-10 or whatever. So, some of these teams are going to start winning some games. And obviously that's happened. The thing about the NFL is you can't just judge based on a game, or based on 2 games. If it happens in a game, it's likely just something random that happened, matchup, something was missed in film, whatever it is, If it happens in multiple games, it starts to be a trend. If it happens over like 3 or 4 games, a quarter of the season, then now it's something. Now it's something you can react to. And so I think like if we're looking at the composition of all the games the Cowboys have played so far, they have an elite level offense with a defense that at times can look good and get after the quarterback. But this is a team that's going to win and go as far as they could possibly go based on the strength of their offense.
Yep.
And that hasn't changed. They lost a game. They scored 33 points without 2 of the top 20 receivers in football. And they
lost another game where they held the Chiefs to 19.
Right. Exactly. But that's if you project out like that, you have to win games multiple ways in the playoffs. But ultimately, like the Cowboys are going to win a lot of games based on the strength of their offense. And so their offense is still good. Their defense still has major questions. If they're not causing turnovers, their defense is a problem. And that's not something you can count on throughout the course of the season. So it's count on the offense. And if the Cowboys get Amari and CeeDee back on Thursday and play the Saints and their offense looks bad, now we've got something to be concerned about.
Yes.
But again, we cannot react to any one game. You got to react to a quarter of the season, because that gives you a pretty good idea, an indication of, of a pattern for a team.
That's I could not agree with you more. So you spoke about the Cowboys getting CeeDee and Amari back, which it looks like they will be full strength. They're also going to have Tyron Smith back and Lyle Collins. So let's just hope tonight during the Saints game that the offense looks like the offense. But you talked about the defense kind of being a question mark at times, and I think that can be said nicely. But so are you worried about Sean Payton dialing up some craziness now that he's going to have Taysom Hill at quarterback and Alvin Kamara back against this Cowboys defense?
Yeah, and it's not even the crazy. I'm just worried about that. I'm just forget about throw the crazy out. I'm just worried that like Taysom Hill is back and Alvin Kamara is back. And that's a problem. The Cowboys have struggled with quarterbacks that can run. And so it's just like plays perfectly into the hands of the Saints. Cowboys give up big plays. They're susceptible to big plays. There's a high level of variance within the Cowboys defense that it's sort of explained away by if they're not causing turnovers, they've got problems. I look, the truth of the matter is we don't know how good this defense can be because we haven't seen it yet at close to full strength. The Cowboys are also going to have DeMarcus Lawrence back. So, what does that do now to Micah Parsons and what his role is going to be as he's been sort of an exclusive pass rusher? Will they continue to use him rushing the opposite edge while Randy Gregory is still out? Gregory will probably be back a week from Sunday,
Washington,
for the Cowboys. And so now it's like, all right, now they're getting fully healthy. Now the problem is this is what happens in football. You get guys back and then other guys,
somebody else goes
get hurt.
down.
That's just the nature of the beast. So, we'll see. But yeah, I'm very concerned about this game. Not even mentioning the fact that the Cowboys aren't going to have a head coach.
Yep.
And other coaches are out, and so yeah, this is a hard game to pick, and it's a dramatic change from where this team was headed. I think that's the part where it's like, go back to your initial question, it's like, yeah, there's reason to react. To say that this team isn't as, Super Bowl bound as maybe thought at the beginning of the year, but that's kind of always how seasons go. You're going to go through ebbs and flows. And
look at the Rams right now.
Right. Exactly. So it happens to every team. There's, Cowboys are going through it right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what this defense looks like in this game, which is an interesting matchup for them going up against a really smart offensive minded head coach, Sean Payton. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, with Kamara and Taysom Hill, among others, ready to return, and just the lack of success the Cowboys have had against a guy like Taysom Hill. It also helps, though, that you now you maybe use Michael Parsons as a spy.
Yep.
And as opposed to, without Gregory and Tank, now he has to rush the passer. And so now he's not a spy as much as he's rushing the edge or rushing the middle. So that, I think getting Tank back too is probably a more underrated return to the lineup for the Cowboys.
And hopefully Jordan Lewis can play well again. I think that was I forget what year it was, but he played one of the
3
best
years
games
ago.
he's ever. Yeah, one of the best games he's ever played ever. When he was spying Kamara that day, was he not?
Yeah, my son just turned 3. I have 2 kids, 2 boys.
Okay.
One just turned 3 yesterday.
Happy birthday.
He was born the day after that game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it gave me 10 days off in between games after he was born. So, and that was obviously the Saints. It was the same Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It was November 30th, 2018. I'll tell you the exact date.
Yeah.
It was November 29th, 2018, because my son was born on the 30th. So.
There you go. And that was the Jalen Smith knocked Alvin Kamara out of the game on the sideline too. Game, was it not?
That was an unbelievable game.
It was.
Their defense was rolling in that stretch. They were dominant.
They were.
They were dominant defensively.
So speaking of defense and head coach, Dan Quinn named the interim head coach in this game. 1, was that the right move having Dan Quinn be the HC in this game? And 2, what do you think that does to the defense with him now on the sideline, not up in the booth where he's been?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I don't have an answer to it. Is it the right move? Sure, because it's the move that they made. We'll know after the game if it was the right move. Because I'm a believer that you need a coach that's a CEO and not a play caller. It's difficult to do everything within a game. I think there are very few coaches that are good at it. Both. There's too many decisions that have to be made in a game that a coach that's having to manage play calling. Like it's hard enough for coaches that are CEOs to manage those decisions in a game.
We've seen that.
Right. I mean, let alone to also be the play caller.
Yeah.
So, I see no other individual that should have, I can't give you Joe Witt should do it or Kellen Moore should do it.
Kellen Moore, no way. Yeah.
Right.
Same.
Sure.
He's done it the most recently as well.
Right. Well, and of course, as the head coach of the Falcons, there's a great familiarity with this team.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, sure. It's the thing is, we're going to find out how good of a coach Mike McCarthy is this week, not because, they don't have him. So how good do they play without him? More of he's now had this entire week to plan this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So how good of a coach is he to be able to plan how successful this team can be without him? And I'm anxious to see.
That is true. I mean, it's obviously never good for anyone to test positive for COVID ever, but at least it was on the earlier side in the week, and it's not like it happened on Wednesday.
Right before the game.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because that would have just thrown a tailspin into everything. So speaking of COVID and injuries, you mentioned it too. The team is going to have DeMarcus Lawrence back as well as Amari Cooper. So Amari coming off of COVID and DeMarcus Lawrence coming off the foot injury, first time playing since week 1. So what do you think realistic expectations for both of those players are Thursday night? Tank's not going to be in there. I feel like some people think it's just going to be he's back.
Right. No, it's obviously going to be probably half the amount of snaps that he's going to play, when you get into the playoffs and such. But yeah, I mean, I'm just very interested to see how they manage this, not just Tank and the snaps, but how they're using Micah with Tank in there, where they line Tank up, and then how they approach this defensively against this team based on the personnel that they have. And, Taysom Hill has not played a lot this year.
Yep.
But there are pretty high expectations for him, and he's played well over the course, when he's been a starting quarterback for them. And then Kamara too. You mentioned Jordan Lewis. Are you is what's Parsons. So I'm just very curious and anxious to see defensively what their approach is based on how they're going to attack this Saints offense. But yeah, I mean,
and a
I
Saints
think
offense
Cooper,
that may be without both of their starting tackles as well.
Right. Armstead and I think Ramczyk should be back though.
Okay. I saw that he was limited, and then D&P on Tuesday. I haven't seen yet on Wednesday.
That's good to know. Because I know at the beginning of the week they were pretty hopeful that he'd play.
Okay.
We'll see. But you're right. I mean, that's a huge deal. Obviously, Ramczyk's really good. So is Armstead. I think Armstead's out though.
Yeah.
So Cooper, I think, like he got back into the facility and he was still dealing with some issues, I guess.
Yep.
And I mean, it almost went from like Monday, Tuesday to like, is he going to play?
Yeah.
To, well, Wednesday he gets on the plane and he goes to New Orleans and he's good to go. So, I would guess also he's not going to play his full amount of snaps. The big one is CeeDee. Amari is so good at getting open, and I think that means a lot for everybody else. But I just think CeeDee is such a unbelievable talent that I think he's more important for the Cowboys offensive ecosystem to be successful than Amari is. I think they're both important in their own rights.
Yep.
They both have their own skill set that plays into the success of this offense and the offensive ecosystem. But I just think CeeDee's more important here. So I think getting him back at full, his full amount of snaps is key and crucial. But I mean, DeMarcus will probably be at half. I've already guessed the amount of snaps that we were to expect from him at normal. And I don't even know what Cooper would be looking at, half, maybe a quarter based on, information that I don't have.
Yeah, no, it has been interesting. It was Jerry on 105.3 The Fan was like, yep, he's ready to go. And then 2 hours later, Mike McCarthy's like, well, we'll see. All right. So we've mentioned Micah Parsons multiple times already. Can you just explain to people how impressive what he's been doing as a rookie really is? It's because now you just put the game on and you expect it out of him, and you expect craziness every single game. And coming from a rookie, 12 weeks in, most rookies have hit the wall 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, the most impressive part about Micah Parsons is the fact that he's one of the top-rated pass rushers in the National Football League, and he's not a pass rusher.
Think about that.
I mean, he is. People were concerned about the Cowboys drafting him where they drafted him because he's an off-ball linebacker, right? And what we found out is that he's really everything. So yeah, I mean, he's up there with T.J. Watt and and Bosa. I mean, with the best pass rush rate in terms of sacking the quarterback, in terms of pressuring the quarterback. He's one of the best pass rushers of the National Football League, not for a rookie, but for a player.
Yes.
And he's not a pass rusher. So it's really incredible. He just has a natural feel for the game. He's a leader. You can tell already in a short amount of time how much leading he does and how much this is already his locker room on the defensive side of the football. I think Jalen Smith had been a really big time leader for them. And I think that was a big problem for that locker room, quite frankly, because he had such a heavy influence and voice in that locker room. I think that's why their defense was so bad last year, because it was, not talented, but also had bad leadership. That, kind of checked out a little bit. So yeah, he is, he's the defensive rookie of the year. He's arguably the defensive player of the year. And yeah, I mean, I foresee a role for him as a mercenary of destruction, just sort of roam around the field and play wherever you want and do what you feel, because he has a feel for the game that not many players do, that you can't teach. And, you think about Troy Polamalu and Ed Reeder, guys that sort of did that. They roamed and they kind of played their own style. Everybody else played within the confines of what their responsibilities were. And then you get one transcendent player like a Micah Parsons who let him diagnose and figure out where to be and make plays, whether that's rush the passer, whether that's, the edge, the middle, playing weak, playing Mike. It's all there.
Yep, it is. And for those of you watching and listening that normally watch Aidan, my co-host, Eagles fan, could not be here for the interview, and I wish you could meet him because Aidan grew up in the hometown of Micah Parsons in Harrisburg. So has been watching him all through middle school and high school, playing basketball, running back. And his favorite two players in the last two drafts were Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. So just seeing that he needs, as an Eagles fan, to watch the two of them every week, it's such a joy for me.
Yeah,
So,
and then obviously they missed on Jalen Reagor. It looks like that.
oh yeah.
He's a Dallas kid for sure.
Uh-huh.
Played at TCU from Waxahachie, the Dallas area. So
Yeah, it's fun for me. All right, I got two more questions for you. One actually is from Aidan, and he said, so Washington football team has been playing well lately, obviously, and it seems like their defense is playing more up to the expectations that we had for them in the offseason. So are you concerned at all that they may make a run here at the end to win this division? They obviously have 2 games left with Dallas and 2 with Philadelphia.
right, and the Cowboys have 1 with Philly, 1 with the Giants, and 2 with the football team, right?
Yep. So they have those division games and then the Saints and the Cardinals. The rest are all NFC East.
It's a good question. Who should we be more concerned about? Would be the football team or the Eagles? Chase Young is out for the year. That diminishes some of it, but they are good on defense even beyond Chase Young. The offense, like I feel like I buy Philly's offense more, but I shouldn't.
Yes, that's agreed. I mean, after watching them against the Giants this past week, it's if they can't run the ball, they can't do anything.
Right. And that's like I watched Jalen Hurts in college, because I work for Sirius XM Big 12 radio, Tom.
Yep.
And so I covered Jalen when he was at OU. And I mean, he's just not a consistent thrower. He has a great feel for the game. He's a great leader. He gets buy-in. He can make plays with his arm. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not consistent enough. And he turns the ball over too much. But I mean, he can make plays off script, and I don't see that ceiling with a Heineke.
I know it's funny. They obviously beat the Bucs again, and then I mean, beating Seattle is kind of nothing. But it's like it's the same sort of thing with me. I see them that they're winning and they're playing well, but I still don't believe it.
Right, exactly. Well, and the Cowboys have dominated the division. They've obviously not played as well of late than they did in those divisional games, but I have no reason to believe that they won't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you're going to make me pick, I'd say the Eagles, simply because the Eagles are 6-6, and the
Washington's 5-6.
Yeah,
they have the Raiders, Cowboys, Eagles.
But the
Cowboys,
Eagles' schedule is ridiculously easy.
Yeah, so the Eagles have left. They have the Jets,
and then the division.
Washington, Eagles or Giants, Washington, Cowboys.
Yeah, so it's the Jets and the division,
and they don't get on a plane the rest of the season because they're in MetLife again, home. They have MetLife once and Washington left on the road. The rest is at home.
Yeah, and the Cowboys are the opposite. They have 2 home games left.
Yep.
And it's back to back. It's Christmas and then New Year's.
It's going to be interesting.
I'll say the Eagles are the team I'm more afraid of.
Okay.
I'm more afraid of the Eagles offense. I'm more afraid of the Washington football team defense, but quite frankly, I'm not afraid of either.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Go out, win this Saints game, and I think everything's going to be back well in the world, and then start getting rolling.
Now, yes, but even if they don't,
yes,
just win the divisional games, because every other game beyond that one and the Cardinals are divisional games for the Cowboys. So, like, go continue to dominate your division, and you'll be fine.
Exactly. All right. You led me into my last question, obviously, talking about how you are on Sirius XM as well. You cover a ton of the Big 12. Obviously, this is an NFL podcast, but I am a massive, massive college football fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan. So I'm in turmoil right now.
State.
No, diehard Notre Dame. But Oklahoma now. Lincoln's gone. He's out at USC. Who takes over this job? I know Bob Stoops is there right now, but that's not the long-term deal.
You don't want to know who takes over the Notre Dame job?
Oh, I have my hopes for that one. I want Marcus Freeman. I want Freeman.
I'm with you, but I feel like they would have already done that, or they should have already done that.
So apparently the AD was supposed to be in Dallas today for the expansion talks, and he's not there. He's on campus with Freeman and Tommy Rees, trying to keep them both there. Apparently, those are the reports.
Yeah, I mean, you hire him as the head coach, you're going to keep him there.
Yes.
I'm with you. I would Marcus Freeman to be my guy. The thing is, you've got 3 guys in Luke Fickell, Matt Campbell at Iowa State, and Urban Meyer, who have all said, like, Notre Dame's the dream job.
Yep.
And so, I mean, if you're Jack Swarbrick, that's what you've got to manage is, like, do we wait for Fickell? Because you're not getting Fickell until after the playoff, if they're in the playoff.
He's not pulling a Brian Kelly.
Right. I like Marcus Freeman. He'd be the guy to me. But I understand Swarbrick not wanting to pull the trigger immediately on that because you have to exercise the rest of your options. You asked me about Oklahoma. I think Brent Venables is going to be the hire. That's certainly what I've heard from folks I've spoken with out in Oklahoma. It's interesting because it seems like they should be going with more of an offensive-minded head coach because that's what they've been and that's been their identity. And they are hemorrhaging a ton of their players right now, whether through the transfer portal or guys that they recruited that are decommitted. But I like Venables a lot. I think it's odd to sort of overcorrect like that in terms of, you're an offensive football team.
And now you're going completely the other way.
Right. It's the completely other way. But there's a history there with Venables, and it's still as funny to me.
It is. And and you said decommits too. And that's another reason why I want Marcus Freeman, because if you go on the Twitter timeline and just scroll, every player on that Irish team and every commit, it's a picture of them and Freeman. It seems like it's all they want. And their next two classes are elite.
Right.
So I don't want to lose those classes. And if they want to play for him and they'll play hard for him and he's a young, fiery guy, give it to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll see. But yeah, it's funny. The OU thing is really funny to me considering, what happened to them is exactly what they did to the Big 12.
Yes.
So it's perfect.
It's
perfect.
It is perfect.
You reap what you sow.
It's art.
Karma's a bee.
It is. All right. Before we get you out of here, let everybody know how they can follow you on social media, where they can listen to you, where they can get all of your work.
First, I'd urge everybody to get a SiriusXM subscription. There's actually a free listen to SiriusXM right now through December 6th, so you can check it out for free and see what we've got. I've worked for a lot of radio companies over the years. Nobody cares more about content than SiriusXM. I say that not as somebody that works for them, but as somebody that's worked for a bunch of different radio companies and listened to a ton of radio over my time. Nobody cares more about content than SiriusXM.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like good content, then check out SiriusXM and subscribe there. But check it out for free now until December 6th. Follow me on Twitter at Ari Sports. And go Cowboys. Pre-game, post-game, and everything in between. Go Cowboys.
Amen. And I couldn't agree more with SiriusXM. It's literally all I listen to during the day. It's that and 105.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. And we've had
you're the best.
We've had Lance Meadow on here a bunch. He comes on. He's been on the show like 4 or 5 times. So another SiriusXM guy. So we'll definitely have to have you back on when Aidan can be here too, and we can bust back and forth a little bit.
For sure, absolutely.
Awesome.
As soon as the Cowboys knock the Eagles out, it'll be fun.
No, we'll have you back on. Don't worry. Appreciate it. All right, Ari, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Take care.
Aidan, it was awesome sitting down with Ari. I joked with him in the interview that my wife is already sick of his voice because I'm always listening to the pre and post game show. I usually put my AirPods in, but driving to and from Thanksgiving, Cowboys obviously played. So driving to, we listened to the pregame. Driving home, we listened to the postgame. In the car on Bluetooth.
I'm sure she was thrilled, but at least you got to talk to him today.
Exactly. It was a pleasure. So yeah, I think he's confident too in the Cowboys. It's just, we'll see what team shows up. They are capable of playing really well. They just don't always do it. So we'll see.
I know that feeling.
All right. So Vince brought this TikTok topic up for us. And at first it was like, you text me and you're like, I can't think of any overrated players. And then I was like, I can't either. And then I think our brain started to work a little bit.
Ooh, I hatched an idea on overrated players. That is, to say the least. So Vince, welcome in. We've got our normal triangle back. I don't think we had you last week with the holiday show. But
I was out doing speaking of which, I think by the time we listen to this, Nadu Unfiltered is going to be out on YouTube if you guys want to go check that out.
Perfect. Yeah, plug it.
So a new video?
No, it's the same one. We had to redo it.
Can't have that private information hitting the internet.
Yeah. I either did or didn't do it, depending if you liked it or not. So
depending on the reviews. Yeah. Vince is either a accredited director or not.
Are you going to the fight?
No.
Were you invited?
Where is the fight?
West Virginia. Neither of us are going. It's too far.
Okay.
Nah.
Well, I don't want to go, and Joe has children, so
yeah.
Here's a question for you: who's walking out with him if you and Joe are not going?
I don't know.
Okay.
His trainer. He's got a trainer and some people.
I think
train,
he's
but
going to get knocked out
I think it might be the worst fight of all time.
ever.
I don't think he's going to get knocked out. I also don't think how do we get to talking about this? I don't think he's going to get knocked out. I do also think it's going to be the worst fight of all time.
Yeah, maybe not knocked out, but just ugly.
I think it's going to be a battle of who gets winded first, which will likely both happen in the first round.
Well, after hanging out with him for a couple of days, I think I have kind of an inkling of what's going to happen, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
We can talk about that off air.
Yep, I was going to say Vince has some betting advice. All right, so check that out. Vince has been working hard doing some other. That's why he was gone last week. He was doing some other projects, filming Jeff and Deuce fighting in Rough and Rowdy for Barstool, and put together like the process of building up to that fight. And Vince was the cameraman and the producer of that video. So go check that out on YouTube when it drops.
All right, let's get this rolling.
I was about to say, back to what we're here for, football. So we are doing tonight, definitely going to be controversial, top 5 most overrated players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our normal triangle back. We're ready for it. I will start. I am just going to say a prayer beforehand because kids are going to say mean things to me on the internet. You guys ready?
Oh, I'm always ready.
All right. At 5, I have DK Metcalf. He is all hype and all muscles. He was a second-round draft pick, but I think if you're drafting in the second round, you want a guy who's good at blocking and special teams. Not some dramatic guy always dyeing his hair like Metcalf. So at 5, I have DK Metcalf.
Guy who apparently is having a threesome, called in a fourth girl, and then tells her not. She drove 2 hours there, and then was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then she drove an hour home, and then he called her back to come back. You don't want those type of guys on your football team.
Too much
You
drama.
want someone that'll hang out with their mom, be a nice boy.
Yep.
You don't want that.
Hold an umbrella.
Maybe. Yeah. Getting away from skin cancer. We get it.
Yeah.
All right. 5 for me, Bud Dupree. He was good for the Steelers defense. I know he's been hurt on and off, but he never fully just did it for me as a linebacker, as a rusher, as an edge. I don't know. I'm going to put in Bud Dupree 5.
5 for me. I have Russell Wilson. I think whatever team decides to pay him this offseason is going to be way overpaying him, especially if it's the Eagles. Whatever the price is for Russell Wilson, it's too high. But if you don't get him, he's overrated anyway, so you don't have to worry about it.
There you go. That checks out. All right. At 4, I have Chase Claypool. Yeah, sure. He's a great jump ball receiver that, again, was in the second round, just like Metcalf. But with the TikTok dances and all the extra stuff, you want a guy who's got the nitty gritty and is a good blocking, like I said, does all the little things for your team. You don't want a guy who wins a lot of jump balls. That's who you're trying to draft in the second round at receiver. So at 4, I have Chase Claypool.
Guys complaining about not having music at practice, wants to make practice more fun. Practice isn't about fun.
No.
Practice is about practice.
You practice hard and you get home to see your mom. That's all you do.
Exactly. Talking about practice. 4 for me, Hunter Henry, tight end. Dude's always hurt. Then he gets a boatload of money for the Patriots. And what's he doing? He was hurt again this year. I like Hunter Henry, but he's overrated.
4 for me, I have Hunter Henry's teammate, Mack Jones. Unfortunately, now that I said this, he will win 8 rings on 3 different teams.
Why would you put this in the universe? Yeah. Why would you do this to us?
I just don't believe in him yet. You got to show me something.
No, now he's going to show you something. We don't want that.
Yeah, now you open the door for that to happen.
Or did I just double, triple, reverse jinx it?
No.
Wow. I don't know.
It's a meta. You got to think about it.
All right. At 3, I have Michael Pittman. I think he's just a product of having an excellent quarterback throwing it to him. And not the guy I would have taken in that draft. There was a lot of other talent in that draft. And I think he was drafted good where he is. And if you got a wide receiver ahead of him, you should be really happy with that receiver that you got. I'm sure he makes a lot of plays.
3 for me, I'm going to the wide receiving core. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. There's like little purple hair now, I guess. He couldn't handle it in Cleveland and cried his way out to the Rams. And ever since he went to the Rams, what's happened? They stink. Odell Beckham has been overrated since his one-handed catch against the Dallas Cowboys in a game they lost.
His dad's more effective at getting stuff done than he is.
OBS.
3 for me. I have Derrick Henry. Dude doesn't put up a single fantasy point in like 4 weeks. If he's on your fantasy team, you have just been wasting a spot. He's been doing absolutely nothing. I don't know what's up with him, but it's been terrible lately.
Jeremy McNichols, baby.
McNichols time. All right. At 2, I have CeeDee Lamb, another guy, a lot of hype. And if you have the chance, to trade your first round pick and then a second round pick to jump up and get CeeDee Lamb, that would have been a waste, especially when you can draft a backup quarterback in that second round. Wise move to any team who didn't do that and stuck where they were at and drafted a backup quarterback in the second round and drafted a receiver in the first round. Tons of value there. Too much hype with CeeDee Lamb. I have him at 2.
You imagine missing the game for a concussion? 2 for me, Jadeveon Clowney. Dude has been all hype since his play against Michigan. Flat out. There, I said it. He did nothing for the Titans. He does I think he's had like a little bit of sacks, but that's only because he's playing on the opposite side of the best edge rusher in the league. But Jadeveon Clowney's been overrated since his one play that he's made in his life.
What team is he on this week?
The Browns, I believe, still.
This week.
He's on a different team every other day. Number 2, I have Kirk Cousins. I mean, I don't really even need to explain this. He's just the epitome of average. Everyone always likes to say, oh, Kirk, he does this, he does that. He has Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. He had Stephon Diggs. He has Dalvin Cook. They had Kyle Rudolph. Have they won a playoff game? I think they won. They haven't won a playoff game, have they?
No, because he was there the year after they went to the NFC Championship.
So Case Keenum took this team farther than Kirk Cousins did. So Kirk Cousins' definition of overrated.
All right. At 1, it's not even close. Justin Jefferson, the most overrated player in the NFL, riding the wave of being on a really good LSU team where he wasn't even the best receiver. I'm sure if you had a draft pick around where Jefferson was drafted, you're probably content, and he's probably not that much better than anyone else that was drafted near him. At 1, I have Justin Jefferson.
1 for me, Jamal Adams. Dude thinks he is the best player in all of football. Can you imagine giving up 2 first-round picks for this dude? He just had, for the first time in his career as a safety, a multiple interception season. That means he only has 2 interceptions this season. That's the most he's ever had in a single season, and he's a safety.
That really backfired because now they suck and don't have the first-round pick.
And now the Jets are going to have that first-round pick. So, number 1 for me, Jamal Adams.
Number 1 for me, I don't think it's any secret, Derek Carr.
How dare you? How dare
quarterback
you?
In a starting quarterback's body. He is nothing more than a backup, just like his brother was. The family name cannot be beaten. Overrated, most overrated player in the league, Derek Carr. Maybe of all time. In all sports.
Dare you?
I put him above Russell Westbrook.
Oh, don't.
Oh.
No. Originally, when I made my list, I was going to put Russell Westbrook at 1 and say he's so overrated that it transcends sports. I decided against it.
Also, honorable mention, the dog that lives above Aidan, because
this thing
needs
shut up.
Yeah, that's bad.
Can you guys hear it now?
Oh, I've been hearing it since
a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. We cut out the part where we cut out the part where we addressed it, but
yeah.
Here we are.
Well, all right. We might as well close up shop because this thing won't shut the fuck up, and it's not going to anytime soon. Yeah. So
say goodbye, Aidan.
All right. Thank you, Vince. Great TikTok. Great episode. Gonna run long, but we had a lot to talk about. These are big games. This is crunch time. This is the last month of the season here. I'm in the hunt. December football in the hunt, in the division lead over there. This is great. Thank you to Ari Temkin for coming on the show. Great interview with Kevin. And we'll see. We could be riding high with 2 wins. We're confident, or we could be in total despair.
Thursday night football. Can't lose 3 in a row. It's not a can't lose. It's a must win.
It just can't lose for the Saints. Thank you to everybody who listened. Subscribe on YouTube because we've been doing the game day reaction shows there. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're doing your Spotify Wrapped, I'd love to see if people are listening to the show.
We have video on Spotify now.
Video on Spotify as well. We are everywhere you can find it. So feel free to subscribe everywhere that you listen. And we will see you likely. Kevin, we might see you Friday for the game day reaction show. And you'll see me Sunday after the Jets.
Boom. Go win the goddamn game.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.